PM versus vendor. Team play for success. Sponsored by Translate Stars.
I'm Gabriela and I have been a certified bilingual translator English to French and Romanian since 2010. I consider myself a beyond words vendor and I love being close to my PMs.
I'm Lucía Gutiérrez, a localization project manager with almost 10 years of experience. I have worked in many different LSPs with many different hats, but always focusing on project management, as it is the job I enjoy the most.
Hello everyone, we are back for another episode.
Hello Gabriela, hello everyone.
Hope you are well, Lucia, today, because we are going to talk about balance as an art.
Wow, such a topic, because when you've got requests and all the requests are urgent, how do you find balance to tackle all these urgent requests? Sometimes it's crazy, and then you feel overwhelmed, and this is all about being balanced, not only in your professional life, but also in your personal life, right, Gabriela?
Exactly, and this is what I wanted to start with. Let's start with the personal life before going to the professional one. In my personal opinion, we have to keep a balance in everything, even in love. If I know it's a human feeling, but we have to keep that balance in our personal life. And then if we manage to have that balance in our personal lives, we will have it even towards the professional one. And when it comes to the professional life, I think first of we should have balance in communication, because communication is key. And when you keep that balance, you can have a nice work relationship with a PM, with a colleague, with a client, with maybe a direct client, because when we say clients, they may be a company, they may be a particular. For example, for certified transitions, I have particular clients. So first of all, and the first step would be keep balance for the communication. And I think it will help you to also have a, a balanced relationship with the person that you are working with, no matter his or her role in the company or even in your work relationship. I don't know.
Yeah, and I also think that clear communication will help you prioritize what's more urgent and what you can leave for later. If the PM explains everything and the importance of the project to a vendor, then on the vendor side, because you manage multiple clients, you work with multiple clients, you will be able to identify, okay, so I need to do this first because it's more of a priority. I'm not going to say urgent, but more of a priority for me. Then I will tackle this client and then this other one. So I think if PMs and vendors have clear communication, that is going to help you find balance in your workload as well.
Yeah, 100% true. And from both sides, not only as a PM, but also as a vendor. And I also think that balance also comes with an yes and no. Okay, you can't always say yes, you can't always say no. If you say too many yeses, you will be overloaded with work, you will not have a nice quality. And if you say too many no's, you will lose clients, you will, I don't know, you'll be in a cycle. So uh, I think, as you said, you have to prioritize, you have to set some boundaries and know when to say a no, when to say a yes. So it's a balance. We are professionals. I say I'm not a professional because normally a translator, a vendor, a freelancer, a PM, a CEO, we are all professionals. But to highlight this, as professionals, we have to find that balance, and no one will find that for us. So there is a balance for yes, there is a balance for no.
And
I
I
don't know.
trust vendors who say no. Because at the
Oh,
end of the day, yeah, I do trust them.
nice, nice.
If they say no periodically, like so every so often, then I don't trust them. But if I have a request and they say, listen, Lucia, I'm too busy to handle this, then I trust that they are saying no because they are not going to be able to deliver the quality needed for that task. So it's something that I personally, I mean, from my point of view, when I'm trying to place a job, it's not nice because you need to go to another vendor, but at the end of the day, in the long-term relationship, it's something that I appreciate because it's clarity and sincerity,
Yeah,
honesty.
no, I want to go back to that. So, in your opinion as a PM, because this podcast is really to give clear, transparent messages from a vendor side, from a PM side. So, you as a vendor, you will not be offended if one of my colleagues says no.
No, at all.
So you hear, guys, you don't have to say yes all the time if you really can't do the job.
Yeah, I mean, it depends because there are some accounts that you've got some set translators and you
Mhm.
need to use those translators all the time. However, a good PM also has backups because we understand that you go on holidays, you may be sick, you may have some personal affairs that will prevent you from completing the job. So you always, as a PM, it's important to always have backups. It's true that sometimes your main translators and your backups fail, not fail, but they say they cannot take the job. So you need to go to another resource or you need to go back to the client and say, listen, your regular translators aren't available. Would you rather wait or go for other translators? So it's a little bit of a mess from the PM perspective, but nobody's going to get offended if you say no. Nobody.
Okay.
If you say no to me 3 times on a row, then I won't contact you anymore, obviously.
Obviously, here is a smart thing, because we also talked about smart things that we can do. For example, you said that sometimes we have a principal translator vendor for a certain client. I know that, we all know that, and maybe it happens that I'm on holidays or maybe I'm sick. For example, if you choose another translator, I think it's smart. I don't know, let me know. If you can contact the principal translator, ask him or her to send some resources, maybe a glossary, maybe something related to that client, which will help the backup translator do a better job. What do you think? Is that a solution?
Well, then I've got a question for you because normally PMs, we all have our TMs and we have our glossaries for the project. But do you, as a vendor, create separate glossaries and TMs?
I create instructions, and I create, for example, nowadays, yesterday evening, I delivered the project, and I know for this, I'm the principal translator for this client. And yes, we have some common glossaries, but I have some things that I know about this client. They don't love code marks, for example, in French. They want us to be as specific as possible. So maybe there are things that the backup translator will not know. So what do you think if the
I
principal
think
is translator?
it would be really nice. I wouldn't expect it because if you tell me you cannot take the job because you are busy, you've got other ongoing projects, or you are sick, or you've got whatever you want, then I wouldn't expect you to spend a lot of time on this. However, if you have it prepared and it's just a matter of sending it via email, just a quick email, then yeah, why not? That would be really nice. Because that way we can brief the alternative translator in a better way.
I do that. I have folders for everyone. So, for example, yes, I can. If the PM asks me, and I tell the PM I can't do the job because I don't know. Here is a link to the folder to this client where I keep everything. Do you think it's interesting? It's something.
Excellent. I've never came across that and I would love it.
This is something that helps you, and this is an advice for my colleagues. You, if you can go beyond, if you can go the extra mile to help a PM, because we are humans, and you can get sick, you can, unfortunately, and you can do something extra to help them, they will love you.
Yes. But also because we in the PM world, I can tell you,
The balance.
I'm talking about saying no. In the PM world, we've seen some recurring reasons of people turning down jobs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. Some of them are quite dark,
Mm-hmm.
like somebody passed away.
Oh, yeah, that's sad.
Yes. And I personally had a vendor that refused a job like 3 times in 6 months or something like that because of a death of someone.
Oh,
Or he was late in sending the job, and the reason was because someone died.
okay.
When I said this to my colleagues, they had the same situation. So they
Okay.
had the same situation with the same vendor.
Yeah, because PM stock. Remember that. Remember PM stock.
We talk,
Yeah.
and we talk a lot actually.
Yeah.
Not
Everyone
only
does.
from the same, not only from the same company, also from other companies.
Yeah, this is another thing to highlight. PM stock, vendor stock, client stock, colleague stock. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say no, just be honest. Don't make up
Yeah.
excuses.
Yeah.
Be honest. If you didn't have the time, if you didn't manage your time efficiently, be honest. Be
Okay.
honest. The PM may not like it, but at least they
Mm.
won't cut you on a lie.
Yeah. No, no, no.
So yeah, and also for the from the PM perspective, I think it's also balance is important in balancing the client's needs with the vendor needs and your company needs. I know I've talked about this triangle before, but I think it's really important to understand our triangle as PMs, where we've got the end client, the vendor, and your LSP, well, the LSP you're working for.
Okay.
And I think it's important to also deliver this message to the vendor to say, listen, this is our main client, or this is one of our top priority clients. Or when you introduce a vendor to the account, just say, this is a new client that we've got, and we need to evaluate further the importance, or something like that, so that they can understand how important this project is for you and your company. From the client side, if you think the client demands are too much, you need to communicate that as well. And you need to put a stop on it. We say the client is always right, and we know PMs, we know the client is not always right. And we know that it's important to educate clients. So in order to find balance in your day-to-day work, you need to understand, and you need to make your clients understand that they cannot be asking for too many things if they are not paying for it, or if they are not giving you enough time. Because
Yeah.
you may ask an extra favor from time to time to your vendor, but you're not going to be asking favors all the time, because vendors will go away eventually.
Exactly. Exactly. And as a last point from me, you talked about value. And you said that sometimes PMs tell the vendors that this is a new client. It happened 2 days ago with an LSP. She's a very great PM, and she told me that this is a new client. It matters. It matters to the PM, or at least for me as a vendor. It matters when a PM tells me this is a new client. I pay attention to every client, but yes, when you hear that is a new client and they trusted you with the project, you feel special, of course. And you do that, and you balance the new project with the other project, because you have to give a little bit more, maybe more attention, but don't forget about the other clients. I know it's a human feeling to feel special when someone tells you this is a new client and we entrusted you with the translation localization, but don't forget about the others. So
Yes.
that's
A
from
good
me.
tip I have,
Mm.
and I know some of my PM colleagues will know this, it's the Eisenhower matrix. This is a matrix with 4 squares.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got on this axis, you've got importance, how important is the task. On this matrix, you've got the urgency, how urgent is the task. So what you need to tackle first are the important and urgent tasks. Then that's your top priority, important and urgent. Then you need to prioritize what's urgent, sorry, what's important but not urgent, and then what's urgent and not important. And then you leave for later what's not important and not urgent. If you do this, I don't do it anymore because I already got used to manage my workload, but I've used to do it and I was doing it for years and years and it really helped me because I was putting all the tasks I had to do that day and I was putting them as important or not important, urgent or not urgent. And it helps you. It helps you because it tells you what you need to do first and then what you need to do second.
Yeah. So balance. That's a key word. And to end another, I think, useful episode, because that's the aim of this podcast. I will not say enough. The aim is to give smart tools, smart advice to colleagues, to clients, future clients, people who are trying to hire PMs, vendors, to give them some push toward a human relationship between a PM and a vendor. So for me, balance is a key word that should be in every relation, personal or professional. But when it comes to the relationship between a PM and a vendor, balance should be at the basis, because life happens, guys. You remember that life happens, and we are humans, we have human feelings, but if we keep the balance with everything, time, quality, clients, colleagues, social media, posting, marketing, etc. So that's my feeling
Yeah.
about balance.
Yeah, I think balance is important, and it's also about managing your emotions, about managing your time, because when you have a balanced life, your mental health is better, you work faster, you are more productive, so it helps you. So it's good to try and find that balance. We know it's not always possible. Sometimes you're going to stress out, and that's life. Sorry, guys, we can't avoid that. But it's important to know how to handle and how to manage different situations that you come across life, both in your professional and your personal life.
Yeah, agree 100%. Thank you for all your advice, and see you next time.
Thank you, guys. Leave your comments, please.
Bye bye. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
What you've heard are just our personal opinions. We by no means intend to impose our personal views on anyone. Feel free to disagree, throw tomatoes at us, or just drop a comment to let us know. Thank you!